Let's talk about mindset. 3 ways that we can transform our mindset to something a little more positive. Very interesting because as we go through, we're talking to people in different areas and grocery stores, just anywhere we go, and you're going to hear some people that are speaking in a positive way, and you're going to hear other people just negative as the day is long. So who is it that you listen to, right? Where are you getting your information? Do you spend a lot of time watching TV? Because I'll tell you what, step number 1 is we've got to change our environment. Now, how in the world do we change our environment? We change our environment in many different ways, right? Our mental environment. How do we do that? Well, if we're watching a lot of TV, really not a whole lot of positive things going on TV right now, right? If you're watching the news, you're just setting yourself up for failure. When you were done, you're like, oh my gosh, let's go conquer the world. Negative news. Cut it out, right? Got to move on. Do something else. Replace it with what? Replace it with positive podcasts. Replace it with reading a book. Heaven forbid we listen or we read something positive, right? Music. Music can light you up, but it can also drag you down. So what type of music we listen to also has a huge effect on our mindset, has a huge effect on the way we think, right? Also, what does your social circle look like? There are some of those folks, right? Spend with some people. We may not get to choose our family, but we can choose exactly how much time we spend with members of our family, right? Because if there's that one negative, ultra negative person, guess what? They may get 2 to 3 minutes of your time, not 2 to 3 hours or 2 to 3 days of your time, right? We can control that. Again, number 1 is environment. By the way, if you like the information, right, so you're notified every time I go live. Step number 2, surroundings. So step number 1 is environment. Step number 2 is surroundings. You notice I've put up my quote over here just so that I can show you. Read it out loud. Every 212 right here. I know it's a cologne, but it doesn't matter. It reminds me of the what happens at 211 degrees? Nothing, right? But the 212, that 1 extra degree, what happens? Water boils. And when water boils, it creates steam and it can power a locomotive, right? And that comes from this little book right here, the 212 degrees, right? By the way, if you haven't read it or you haven't bought that book, you should. It's really good. All right. At the same time, we surround ourselves with quotes. I've got this one here that I look at all the time. Forget yourself and go to work. Gordon B. Hinckley. Why? Because this gentleman here, his wife of 60 years passed away. And people were asking him, how in the world, how do you handle that? He said, I forget myself and I go to work. Sometimes we just need to forget ourselves and understand that we are here to serve others, and we go to work. So we can just flat get things done. We can help other people, and we're forgetting about our own sorrows, and we help other people overcome theirs. And in that process, we also overcome ours. It's a beautiful situation, right? So plaques, quotes, what is it that you wake up to? Do you have quotes on your mirror, right? Do you have those things that inspire you all around you so that if you do have one of those negative thoughts, you can turn it around? You know, Brendon Burchard talks about we should have a card. Now you can do a 3x5, or maybe if your list is a little longer, maybe you need one of these big old cards, right? With how you can turn your mindset around like that. Because every one of us is a little bit different, right? We've got to find out what motivates you, what will turn your mindset from a negative to a positive. And if you've got a card that you can refer to and you can go line by line and follow the process, now all of a sudden you've transformed your mindset just like that, right? Okay, but everybody's a little bit different. So create your card. The last one, actions. Actions. What do you actually do, right? Because sometimes we can get in one of those in a negative funk. And the only way we can get out of it is to go back to our positive stack. Because if we're negatively stacking and we're stacking up all the failures that we've had, and oh my gosh, it's been one of those days, and everybody said no, didn't sell anything today, whatever it happens to be, and we stack those up, we can get in a pretty negative mood. We come home and be pretty ticked off, right? To where the spouse is like, we can journal our top 3 wins every day. We can journal, we can go back and start that positive stack from the time we were born until now, all the positive things that we've done, the great accomplishments that we've had. And when we start feeling now, all of a sudden, we transform our thought process into, you know what? Yeah, I am bad. I am bad to the bone, baby, right? We have an opportunity to transform the negative thought process into a positive thought process by the words and the actions that we do, the actions we take. We're writing in our positive stack every day, man, that's compound interest, baby. It starts to compound for us, right? And then the last piece of that is your meaningful moment. If you were to record the most meaningful moment of the day in a journal and capture that extraordinary thing, you're looking for the extraordinary and the ordinary every single day. Maybe it's a small miracle that takes place. Maybe it's just that the most positive moment that you could think of for the day, and you record that. Now, all of a sudden, what are you looking for every day? You're looking for that positive, meaningful moment, that gem, that diamond, that gold that you can yank out of the day and hold on to it, right? That way, we're looking for something positive throughout the day, keeping that positive mindset. And the last thing is this. I learned this from Mel Robbins, and she just came out with a book. I guess it releases here pretty quick. You can pre-buy it on Amazon or whatever. But it's the High Five Habit. And if you're not familiar with her High Five Habit, it has to do with every time you are in your restroom, before you leave the bathroom for the day, you're going to look yourself in the eye and you're going to celebrate yourself. You're going to self a high five in the mirror. And I promise you, I dare you to give yourself that high five in the mirror without smiling at yourself, without looking into the soul of the individual that's looking back at you, at yourself, the true you, and celebrate you for who you are. And tell me if that doesn't change and transform your mindset, because it does for me. It just makes me feel so much better every time I do that. And it makes me smile every single time, right? And since she told me how to do that, I don't know, it's been a couple months now. I do it every day, and it's transformative. You'll absolutely love it. Anyways, her new book's coming out, The High Five Habit. You should buy it. I know I'm going to. All right, so 3 things. Environment. Again, what goes through you sticks to you. So be careful what goes through you. 2, your surroundings. Posters, quote cards, the things that inspire you. I've got a picture of George Washington on my wall here. He's kneeling. It's the Prayer Valley Forge, and he's next to his horse. It's freezing half to death, but he's supplicating to God in that photo, right? Reminding me that I always need to take a knee and in prayer. What are you putting in front of your face to keep you inspired? And the last one, the actions. Again, the top 3 wins from the day. And if you can't find 3 wins for the day, you make that stuff up. You got out of bed, you made your bed, you put your shoes on, you walked to the front door. That's 3 wins right there, right? You made it. You got out of bed. That's a start. So again, environment, surroundings, actions. I promise you, take some of this stuff to heart, act on it, and you'll have a more positive mindset. Thanks for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow.